topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
This is successful women, hearts unshaken, powers within them, rise up high, the world's gonna listen, dreams ignite, unstoppable vision, successful women.
Did you know women represent just 3% of Fortune 500 CEOs and less than 15% of corporate executives at top companies worldwide? Have you wondered what the secrets are to getting into the top ranks, whether in the private or public sector? Do you want to figure out how to stop being held back in your career or passed over for promotion? Then you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, President and CEO of the Executive Women's Success Institute. I have decades of experience in the military, the federal government, and corporate America, and my mission is to help women succeed and tap into their full potential. I want to reach 1 million plus women around the world to become the leaders they are meant to be. So if you want to move into a management or executive level position, or maybe you are a female veteran transitioning out of the military into business entrepreneurship, then reach out to the Executive Women's Success Institute at 301-693-3284. Let us get you on the fast track to success. Well, hello and welcome to the Success for Women show, where you can view us on Talk for TV and listen to us on the Women for Women network. I am Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, your host, and my mission is to help women accelerate the path to success. Well, today's topic is trapped in success. And my guest today is Miss Debbie Jackson. Let me just give you a little bit of background on Ms. Jackson. Debbie is a personal leadership coach. She is an accomplished leader, certified coach, and the creator of the Trapped in Success solution. With an honors degree in computer science, Debbie built an executive corporate career spanning R&D, engineering, quality assurance, IT, learning and development, and services. Through her Trapped in Success solution, she guides them through deep transformational coaching to reclaim clarity, confidence, alignment, and a healthier relationship with success questions. I would like to bring to the Successful Women show Ms. Debbie Jackson.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. I can't wait to hear all about your Trapped in Success. But before we get started, I always read the standard bio on my guests, but then I like to ask the guests just to tell us what you want us to know about Debbie Jackson.
Well, first of all, thank you for the introduction. I won't repeat any of that. You covered that very well. I think the biggest thing, especially for our listeners today, that I want them to know about me is this: I come from a place of lived experience. So when I say I coach women who are trapped in success, I've been there. I have felt the fear of being to every outside view is successful, but feeling like a stranger in my own life, in my own career. Mm-hmm. And I felt the guilt about that, of feeling ungrateful, of saying, well, how can I be like I've got everything? I set the goals, I set the mission, and I achieved it. So why should I feel, why am I not grateful? So
Mhm.
I have felt that, but I've also leaned into the courage that it takes to take the steps to come into alignment and get out of feeling trapped in success. So that's, I think, really what I would want listeners to know is this is a lived experience. I come from a place of empathy and compassion because I have walked in those steps myself.
Wow. Well, now we know Debbie Jackson. So tell us, you've worked with a lot of high achieving women who feel
Mhm.
trapped in success. So what does that mean, and how did you discover this pattern in your own life?
It's a great question because when I came up with my 12-week online program and I called it the Trapped in Success Solution, the terms, what I was wanting to capture was this tension that women living in this experience, in this situation that they're feeling that a lot of people don't understand. Because if we think of success, this is a positive, this is a good thing,
Mhm.
this is something that we should all want. But then we think of trapped, and that's not something most of us would want to be in any connotation, right? Trapped carries something negative. And this is exactly the tension that builds in women who are in this situation. They have the positive with with that perceived negative. So there's a tension there of um, feeling trapped in everything that you thought you wanted or believed you wanted. So that was really what I was going for, is to try and bring the energy or the feeling to that tension that lives in the women that I work with.
Mhm.
And in terms of my pattern, I have a feeling it probably showed up even as I was in my post-secondary education, getting my degree.
Mhm.
But where I really, and in hindsight, it's become very clear, but where I started to step back and reflect was I've always been a learner. If you've ever done Swim with Founders, that's one of my strengths. Always wanted to sign up and say, "Oh, I'll take that new program. I'll take that new project. I'll try that organization. I'll go into that role." I was always moving, always trying new things, and I always thought, "Well, it's because 'cause I'm a learner. I like the new experiences." As I started to look at that pattern, I realized that was less of learning, and it was more about me trying to find my fit,
Mhm.
trying to find what brought me purpose and joy and meaning. And that's really when I started to say, okay, there's more here. This isn't just me being curious and wanting to learn all these different things. This is, I am trying to find something. I'm searching for something.
Mhm. So you also talk about though the alignment part and the reinvention part. What does aligned reinvention look like for a woman who appear successful, but like you said, she may feel disconnected inside?
So, aligned reinvention for me, and the reason I put aligned in front of it is reinvention is a heavily used word nowadays. I've even heard it associated with midlife crisis, which I think is silly, but we can reinvent. Like I could decide today, like I've been very curious about the nursing profession. I'm going
Mhm.
to take some courses and I'm going to try and become a nurse. I'm going to reinvent into that.
Mhm.
The reason I add aligned is I want that reinvention to be in alignment with who you are now, who you are becoming, what aligns with yourself, your purpose. So it's not just a reinvention. And I don't say that lightly because reinventing is effort, right? And it is a scary thing.
Mhm.
But aligned, when you go through it, you want to come out as someone who you are meant to be, who you are now,
Absolutely.
not a version of what you were 10 years ago, not what people might think you should be, not what you think you might want to be in 10 years. It's who am I now? And that's why I've put those two words together. And I always like to call it aligned reinvention, is it's because we are reinventing to who we are now.
Absolutely. So, what was the moment in your life journey or in your own journey that when you realized something had changed?
Um, I, like I said, I started to reflect on the pattern, but there was one specific point I remember, and I was in a role, I was with a great company, but I
Mhm.
was in a role that was not aligned with what nourishes me by any means. It was a support leadership role. You know, you're on call 24/7, 365, always in that escalation path. Nervous system never gets to calm down, always is on that fight, flight, freeze, never knowing when you're going to have to take action.
Mhm.
And I'd had a particularly long, tough week. And it was an early spring Friday night. And I thought, I'm too tired to make dinner. I'll fire the barbecue up and put some food on it, and that'll be dinner.
Mhm.
And I remember getting the food on, and my phone rang. Yet again, another escalation. And I was just like, I got off the phone. And that evening, I just declared, you know what? I don't know how. I don't know exactly when. By the end of this calendar year, I will not be in this role.
Mm.
And I knew something had to change because I was also having physical symptoms, health issues. Like my body was actually talking to me. And
Mhm.
like many women, I was pushing that down and pushing that aside and saying, oh, that'll pass. That's nothing. And until it started to kind of scream at me. And then I realized, okay, I've got to pay attention to this. I need to make some tough choices. And like I said, I understand that fear because when I made that declaration, I didn't know what that would look like. I didn't even for sure know where I'd be or what I'd be doing, but I just knew it had to change.
Mhm. Mhm. And actually, it's a hard decision sometimes to make, and it's sometimes you don't see it as quickly as you hope. So by the time you do see it, it's like, why did I wait so long?
Exactly. And in my case, I think my body was giving me that final nudge because
Mhm.
my head was rationalizing it away as don't worry when things calm down, you'll
Yeah,
get some rest and you'll be fine.
right.
And the thing is, in that type of role, it never calms down. And it's not a slight, like I said on the role, there are people who thrive much better in a firefighting
In
type
that,
role.
yeah.
I did not. And that was something I learned about myself. And
Mhm.
that was one of the things I had to learn when I was choosing something different was it would not be a firefighting type of role.
Exactly.
Um, but you're right. We're very good at rationalizing away what we're
Absolutely.
feeling.
Mhm.
And sometimes, sadly, it takes the body to say, okay, if you're not going to take action, I'm going to force you to take action.
Oh yeah, it absolutely that happens, and I know it does because I know when I was in my organization, I did a lot of traveling, and I mean, when I
Mm.
say traveling, it was like I always had a suitcase packed. It was as if I never unpacked a suitcase unless it was I got home just to take the dirty clothes out and put some more clean ones in, and I'm off again. And at some point, it got to the point where I was like, okay, I just this is enough. I just can't do this
Yeah.
anymore. And now, after I left the organization, I retired from all of that, and I did go to a few places that I actually wanted to go to that was on my bucket list, but now it's almost like I don't really want to travel that much anymore because it reminds me so much of all the traveling that I did. So, and like you said, I really got to the point where I felt drained. I felt, I was burned
Mm.
out. And I was getting to the point where I was getting angry with them. It's like, don't you have
Resentful.
anybody else that could
Mhm.
do this? So yeah, it takes a toll.
Yeah, and it does. It can build into resentment. And that's one of the risks if we let it go too long. Then we
Absolutely.
do tend to blame those around us rather than saying, maybe it's me in this role that isn't the
Mhm.
right fit for where I'm at now.
Exactly.
Um, yeah.
And also what we do, we see a lot of this, women who are accomplished and they're struggling. But why do you believe so many accomplished women struggle silently with overwhelm, disengagement, or feeling stuck? Why do they just suffer with this and struggle with it so much?
Well, I think there's a few things going on there. The first one is fear, right? As I said, even when I made my declaration, I didn't know. what the next step would look like, even
Yeah.
though inside we do know. And that's the work I love doing with women, is helping
Yeah.
them discover that, right? Because
Exactly.
nobody can tell you that answer but yourself.
Yes.
But there is a fear there. If it isn't logically, these are high performing, high achieving women used to a plan. If I don't know what that step is, there's a lot of fear there.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a lot of fear of judgment, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
okay, what are people going to think? What are my family going to think? Am I going to be labeled that midlife crisis person
What
because
ifs? Yeah.
I'm going to walk away from this. How can I do that? And then there's
Mhm.
the fear of, I have a mortgage. I have
Mhm.
bills to pay. I got
What
kids
if
to
I
put through
fail?
school.
Yeah. What if I
Oh,
try
fear of
something and fail
failure.
on my own? Yeah.
This audience, because our women are so high achieving and high performing, failure is a huge fear. We
Yeah.
can't underestimate that as well. So there's so much fear going on. But the other thing I want to call out is, if you look at the conditioning that we as women go through, we are conditioned to push. We are
Mhm.
conditioned to, I mean, whether you have children or not, when you think about it, we're genetically built to push another human being out of us.
Mhm.
That's not trivial, and
Right.
that's painful. We are rewarded and praised for being
Exactly.
able to push through, hold it together, be
Absolutely.
resilient, you
Absolutely.
know, support and nurture everybody right from when we were little. Be a good little girl, be supportive, be kind.
Yeah.
We're very conditioned to putting ourselves behind everybody else.
Mhm. Mhm.
So put the fear and how much fear is involved, and then how conditioned we are to say, well, do we really want to, quote, be selfish and try and do something for ourselves? I think those factors really hold women back. So
Mhm.
they stay in silence, which is really a survival strategy. That's
Mhm.
how they're surviving day to day, is just remain silent and power through.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest one. Just remain silent and push through it. That's
Mhm.
exactly what happens. That's what we tend to do. Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise you might be perceived as whining or emotional, and we've heard that before, and so we just stay silent and
Oh
we
yeah.
smile and we push on through.
Hmm. Hmm. Now you created a program specifically for women in this situation. Can you share what inspired you to build and what makes it different from traditional coaching?
So I guess the biggest inspiration for doing it was I wished it had existed when I was going through this, because there was no real structure or framework or process or tools that I could easily grasp to help me find my way through. So there
Mhm.
was a lot of trial and error and going down one path. It didn't work, going down another path. So I really wanted to create something that would um, take the uncertainty out of it for women, show some practical, tactical framework for doing that, and
Mhm.
try and remove some of the fear from it. And what makes it different from traditional coaching is there is a key learning aspect, right? There's 12 modules, 12 weeks. It's about maybe 10 minutes of learning a week. I try to keep it small. Women, we do not need, if we've come to this point, we do not need more burden put on us of heavy
Right.
lifting.
Right.
And then there's homework, and that homework could be reflection, it could be a variety of things, but all of the tools, all of the things that are needed to do that are there. And so you get to work through it at your own pace, in your own fashion. There's
Mhm.
still weekly group coaching calls, so you can come to a call, ask questions, get got clarity, guidance. There's other women, so there's a community there. I have a private Facebook group. So you have that sense of community with women who are also going through the same thing. So
Mhm.
it has this kind of safe uh, environment or space to be able to try, to learn, even to fail, right? Because we're all in the same boat in that situation. And it looks at bringing clarity and structure to something that, when you're going through it, looks
Mhm.
very um, uncertain and gray.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, there's a lot of myths that surrounds when we talk about reinvention and different things like that. What do you think the biggest myths women believe about reinvention, and how do these myths keep them stuck?
Great question. I think one of the biggest myths I see, and there's probably two or three big ones, but one of the biggest ones is this whole belief that, oh my goodness, I've got to start all over, but I've invested so much. I've invested
Mm,
in an education. I've invested, so many years at this company, so there's this myth that it involves starting over
right.
or starting from scratch. And that's one of the first discussions I have with women, especially if I'm working one-on-one with them, is helping them realize that, you've been building skills, you've acquired knowledge, you've gone through many learning experiences over your career, you've had opportunities, you've had challenges, you've had so much, and all of this now is coming together as wisdom,
Hmm.
something we don't really have straight out of university, right? We've got wisdom, and that's what makes it so exciting as you do head on this journey, because you are not starting from scratch. You are starting with a powerful foundation that you have been building of all of these assets that you've been learning, that you have been trying, that you have been succeeding, failing at. They're all there. So this is the wisdom that you're building from. And
Hmm.
that's the wisdom that's going to guide you and that already knows what the next steps are. So I think that's the biggest one, is just reminding women that it's not about starting over. I think another myth is, again, we're talking to high achieving, high performing women. You don't have to have the whole plan,
Hmm.
right? You don't have to know, okay, here are all of the steps. Here's the targeted end date. Here's when I'm going to come through you just need to take the next step. And a
Absolutely.
lot of this, because it's discovery and
Hmm.
it's reflective discovery, you just need to know the next step you're going to take. And
Absolutely.
again, I would probably say those are the two big myths, is the starting over, and then, I don't have a good view. I don't have a whole plan. I'm not really sure. Just take the next step. You'll
Just take the
know.
next step. Right.
Yeah, you'll know
Uh,
what it is.
Now, in your program, you also guide women through reconnecting with purpose,
Mhm.
self, and community. So, why are these three pillars so essential?
So, great question. The program is built on a foundation of connection, because connection is so core. And as you
Mhm.
said, the first pillar is connection to purpose, connection to self, connection to community. Well, purpose is your direction.
Exactly.
Per- that I always call it my North Star. So you need to be connected to your purpose, to your core values. So you know where you're headed. You know what brings you meaning right now. You know how you want to show up in the world. And then connection to self is about getting reconnected to the identity. That's your identity, who you are. So
Mhm.
reconnecting to who you are now. Because again, so many women who are in this situation have got very good at getting on that treadmill, go, 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 blinders on, deliver, deliver, that they've disconnected from themselves. They're
Absolutely.
not even sure how to reconnect with themselves.
Mhm.
So that
Mhm.
becomes a critical item to work with. And then lastly, connection to community. And I would say to the right supportive community. I mean, that's how we're going to transform. That's how we're going to evolve, is through community. We're not meant to go through this type of aligned reinvention alone. And community is what's going to help keep us accountable. It's going to help make the change lasting. It's going to bring us joy as we connect to the communities that support who we are now and
Exactly.
are in connection with who we are now, right? They may have similar purpose, similar values. So I find, and I know from my own experience, but when a woman gets truly connected to those three pillars, she
Mhm.
becomes unstoppable.
Mhm. Yeah.
Unstoppable, right? It's watching the face light up, watching the energy shift. It's truly, you feel it.
Mhm.
It's truly unstoppable, versus if there's disconnection in any of those, you're right back into
Absolutely.
that survival strategy. They're just
Exactly.
surviving.
because the community also offers the somewhat of support too, because you have
Mhm.
that network and you have the support that you can in some cases draw from. So that's definitely a big.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Because through any change, there are going to be days when you go, is it worth it? And having that community around you that says, yes, it is. And what do you need from me? How can I help you?
Exactly.
There's no more powerful words than how can I
How
help
can
you
I help you?
to make
Absolutely.
someone's just calm, right? Make
Hmm.
the nervous system know somebody's here to
Yeah,
help
to
me
let them know they're not, what everything
alone.
that they've done has not been in vain, it so to speak too. To let them
Yes.
know, hey, I've lived and I can be support to you too. So you can use some of the things that I've learned, like you said, to navigate you, but
Mm-hmm.
also I need you know, some of the skills and knowledge that you have to support and
Yes.
navigate me through whatever I might be going through, or maybe whatever I have to get over. And that community aspect of it is definitely one to do that. So,
Yes.
you can't just leave from, if you're overwhelmed, like you say, and you decide to leave it all, but you can't just shut yourself off, because that's not going to help either.
No, no, and especially because I would say this group of women that I work with are excellent at shutting off.
Yeah.
Numbing is one of the characteristics, right? Is
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
that's how you get through survival mode. You find ways to numb.
Hmm.
So that's to excellent point. That is where community is there to support, to mirror, to positively challenge, to keep you accountable.
Yeah,
It's critical.
absolutely. So, what's one small but powerful shift that a woman can make today if she feels she's just going through the motions?
So before I say the shift, I will put context around it.
Mhm.
Again, knowing my audience, having been there myself, before I say what it is, I want to say that you want to, before doing this, step back. Step back, quiet the noise, quiet your system. So I would say, if for me, my quiet time, my me time is in the morning with my coffee.
Me too.
And that's when, yeah, I love that time. I
Yeah,
guard that time.
yeah,
It's just my special time. Anyone
exactly.
who knows me knows that.
Hmm.
And that's when I would do this type of work that I'm going to suggest right now, whether it's in the morning with your coffee, your tea, whether it's after work. Just find that quiet time where you're not going to be interrupted, where you can kind of calm down, calm the system down quietly, and then just ask yourself. And it might help to have a journal or piece of paper and pen there, and don't judge, just write whatever comes up. But there's three questions that I like to give women very early on, to sit with and reflect on. And the first one is, what am I tolerating? The second one is, what am I craving? And the third one is, what am I avoiding?
Mm.
And if you can quiet the noise and bring in some stillness and sit with those questions, there's a lot that can come up in that. And not the obvious that you would think. Like, I know a lot of times when I do talk to women about this and they think, what am I avoiding? Well, it's all the negative stuff, the stuff I don't want to.
Mhm.
Well, not necessarily, because a common characteristic for women who are feeling very stuck is they start to withdraw from social connections.
Yeah.
They start to find reasons not to go out with friends,
Mhm.
because again, they're exhausted. Sometimes they even feel like they're an imposter, right? They don't want to go out and have all this fun and talk to people about work when it's not what they
Mhm.
believe in. It doesn't fit anymore. So, maybe what am I avoiding? I'm avoiding social engagements, right? Which
Mhm.
again is a telling thing. Well, why is that?
Mhm.
So sitting with those three questions of, what am I tolerating, what am I craving, and what am I avoiding, and then see what comes up. That alone is a very powerful first step at understanding, are you ready? What needs to shift? So that's usually what I encourage, if if people can take that time. But again, it's not a checklist item. It's not, I have 5 minutes, here's the questions, let me jot down whatever I can think of, because the logical brain will kick in, and you really want to start to feel the answers to these questions as well.
Wow. Yeah, it's always good to have some me time, because that's when you can figure out or sort out, some things, and just kind of clear your head, your thinking, and even to see which direction you might want to move in.
Exactly. And again, no judgment.
Hmm.
No judgment. I always tell people, if they've got a pen to paper, just write it down. Don't worry about bullets. Don't worry about formatting. Don't worry about spelling. Don't judge. Just get it all out there. And then you can go back and read and say, well, what is this story telling me? Like, what have I just told myself? What has come up? Because once you start to let the answers come out and let the information flow, you'd be surprised what I'm always surprised when I ask women to do this activity, what shows up.
Wow. Now, what if, and I know you've worked with women navigating major transitions, what patterns do you see when a woman is on the edge of her next chapter? She's left everything and she can start, something new, but she's afraid to step forward.
Yeah, so some of the things that I'm looking for when I do meet, because I always hold a free assessment call beforehand, just to make sure people, the person I'm talking with is ready to make this kind of shift or change. And the first thing are the signs or the signals or the symptoms that I'm picking up. A lot of times it's, very restless, agitated, disconnected, bored, apathetic. I've seen very senior women say, I really don't care. I really don't care about this. And that's a shame, because they're so talented and they've worked so hard to care so much to get there, just pull back and say, I really don't care anymore. Or they're just so exhausted or lacking motivation. So when I see those signals, but then very quickly after we talk about those, then I hear the word guilt, but I feel guilty. Right. I feel guilty because who am I to question all of the success and the wonderful blessings I've been given? Right. So then the guilt shows up very quickly, then follows the fear. I don't want to disrupt my life. I don't want to disrupt my family. I don't want to disappoint anybody. So it's, again, back to that word. When I picked the title for this, it's when I can really sense that tension. The signals are there. The guilt is there. The fear is there. That is the system. That is a woman's nervous system saying, we're ready. We need to go. Like, I'm on the edge. I need the next step.
Now, I did want to ask you, I know that most of the women, are, like we talked about earlier, are high achieving women. Now, are they, most of the ones that you work with, are they mostly in the executive roles, maybe running their own companies, or are they, CEOs of something or other, or whatever, or
That's a great question. It's at all levels. I've had a CEO say to me, I'm tired of escalations. I just want a job that brings me meaning.
Okay.
I just want to have meaning. But I also work with senior ICs, individual contributors, who aren't in a specific leadership role, but they are pulled on day in, day out for their expertise. And yet they don't have the authority or the team to do a lot of that work for them. So they are the kind of the buck stops here type of IC. And that, again, carries its own weight and strain. And so it's a variety, everything from individual contributor right up to CEO.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good across the board to women, because as we know, women, period, we just a lot of times, I mean, we definitely face a lot of things, and we hold on, and a lot of things that we just keep inside. Sometimes we just don't let it come out, and that's what we need. We need a vehicle, we talked about, a support system where you can get that out of your system so you
Absolutely.
can be able to function properly. Because at some point, if you keep holding it in, then you start not functioning the way you need to function.
Exactly. Well, and that's, as we said, that's where the body starts to speak,
Yeah.
right? You can't keep holding that pressure in. It is the amount of times it's sad the amount of times I've heard women say, but I don't want to disappoint anybody.
Oh, yeah,
And it's like, well, what about yourself?
exactly.
That's the biggest person you have to be concerned about disappointing.
hmm
And it's tough,
hmm
right?
It definitely is. And you see it when you, like you said, when you do your coaching, and that's why it's always good to do with a small group, because that gives them the opportunity to be able to be comfortable, to let go. I remember when I was doing my retreats, and I would do maybe about 10 to 15, no more than that. And I'd rent a house, and the last time I rented a house, we were on the lake, and it was really nice. One of the ladies, she came and she slept probably for about maybe 18 hours straight. She said she just needed that rest. And that was the
Oh,
first time she was able to just shut it all down and not have to worry about anybody, bothering her, like you said, calling and hey, you're on call, we need you now, whatever. Yeah. hmm
there's such a way with that. Like, there's so much beauty that you gave her that space to do that. It's
hmm
so sad to think it got to that point. And I wish I could say that's the first time I've heard of that, but that is so common.
Yeah,
Like, retreats become, okay, I have nobody pulling on my time. Yeah, I'm going to sleep 18 hours,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And we shouldn't have to wait to get to that point. And
Yeah.
that's where I really encourage women, because by then you've missed so much other opportunity, right? Our
Yeah,
lives are, we got one life to live, and
absolutely.
let's live it as ourselves, as
Yeah,
we're
and
meant to
because there's
be.
so much to enjoy that you don't really want to sleep it all away. But if
Mm,
that's all your body is willing to do at the time, I guess that's what you have to give it for that time. And it
yeah.
was just great because the retreat, it was I didn't bring in any speakers or anything where they had to be there. It was just come, relax, release, and just
Mm.
do whatever you wanted to do. We had someone that did yoga out on the lake, and they just sat around, and it was just really nice to see them relax. It really
That's
was.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny when you said enjoy it, it just sparked something in me that is also very common. And I ask this when I start working with women, and especially one on one, is tell me what you do for joy.
Mhm.
Tell me when the last time you experienced joy. And you'd swear I'd ask them for the formula to get somebody up to the moon. Like the look of blankness, and just then it's usually I don't remember. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Don't
And
know.
that again, when we reach that point, life is meant to be joyful,
hmm
as well as, demanding, fun, other things. But
hmm
like, that's something, a sign I also see is when women can't even think about what they do for joy,
Exactly.
or when they last experienced joy.
hmm Yeah. Wow. And that is definitely not good. Now, your
Yeah.
program has a unique structure. Can you walk us through what women experience inside it and what outcomes they can expect?
Yeah, so as I said, it's based on the 12 modules, and we work and explore our purpose, our values, our identity, tips, tools and techniques to reconnect into ourselves and our identity.
hmm
We look at the right communities to support us, because this is an interesting one. One
hmm
of the biggest reasons women will fail in doing this type of transformation
hmm
is because they don't step back and really look at the communities that surround them.
Yeah.
So, an example I'll give is that you might have existing communities. They know you as you are. They love you as you are, but they might not be the ones who help you get to who you are now, right? You may have known them since high school, or and the challenge with groups, because people typically don't like change.
Yes.
And certainly if somebody's been friends with you, as an example, for a long time, they like you as you are.
Oh,
They
yeah.
like what
Yeah.
they've been seeing. So
Yeah.
not that they're evil, not that there's anything wrong, but unintentionally,
That's just what they're
they just
used
try
to.
to hold you back, right? And women can get pulled back because we also don't want to say no to people. We don't want to, but we do need, when we're doing this, we have to surround ourselves with community that will support us and nurture us in who we are now. And so that part of the program is very interesting, because a lot of times it gets women to kind of step back and say, oh, okay, well, what does this mean then? Type of thing. Like they need to intentionally focus on that, because it can be a risk of failure for that particular area if they don't intentionally choose the community that will support them.
Absolutely.
And it's unique in that you get clarity on your values, your purpose, who you are, but you also get these tools, you get these techniques, you learn how to set boundaries, to honor. We go through that, like how it's fine to say you've got your purpose and your values now, but how do you honor them?
How do you honor?
Right? How do you use them to help make major decisions so that you continue to honor them, and you can kind of take some of that emotion out of decision making? So
Absolutely.
it really is a program that brings clarity. It has community support. There is coaching in there. It's at their own pace. It's self-led, but it really does bring alignment to who they are now. And it's just a different energy when they come through.
Absolutely. Wow. So tell me, if you had one piece of advice to leave with our viewers and our listeners, what would that piece of advice be?
I spoke to it a bit. Remember, you don't have to overhaul your life. You've got here, you built the life for a reason. You have a life that you can, it's a powerful foundation that you can now use as you transform into who you are becoming. And I will say, yes, it is scary. I've been there. It's scary. But the last thing I'll leave you with is, it might be scary now, but if you were to make no changes and do nothing differently and stay on the path and keep everyone around you happy, how are you going to look, feel, act, and behave in 5 years if nothing else changes? What is scarier, to make change now or to be that person in 5 years?
Absolutely. So, Debbie, it has been a pleasure having you on the show. So why don't you tell us how our viewers and listeners can reach out to you if they wanted to find out more about your Trapped in Success Solutions program. Tell us how they can reach out to you.
Perfect. Well, thank you. I have a website, debbiejacksoncoaching.com. And on the website, you can find information about the online program. There's actually links to book that free assessment call that I talked about to see if you would be a good fit for it. There's also a contact form if you want to email me. I am on LinkedIn as Debbie Jackson. You can find me there. I'm on there usually daily, quite often, because I know a lot of my community are there.
Yeah.
And then on Instagram, I'm at Trapped in Success Solution, and on Facebook, I'm Trapped in Success Solution. So there's a few avenues to use so I can connect.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Again, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. And definitely, if you find that you have any upcoming training or anything that you want to let us know about, make sure you do, and we'll be glad to put it out there. We'll also be glad to, there's something else that you want to come back and share with us, just let me know, and we'll have you back to give us more insight on your unique program. So thank you again for being here on the show. It's a pleasure having you.
You're welcome. Pleasure is all mine. This was fun.
All righty. Okay, just now, just want to give you all just a couple of upcoming events and around the town with Dr. Lewis. And one of the things is I am honored to be nominated for the 2026 Sister Leaders Award. The award gala will take place October 3rd, which happens to be my birthday, at the Rivers Casino in Portsmouth, Virginia. I'm also excited to share that I've been named to the Women in Leadership Top 100 list for 2026 by the Global Publishing Media Group. This list recognizes influential female leaders driving change across the global industries. And don't forget, if you have not gotten a copy of the Empower Her Legacy anthology that I am a part of, and this anthology features 11 powerful women and is meant to uncover the internal shifts, the breaking points, and pivots that lead to transformation. And you can get your paperback copy at Amazon.com. Just put in the search box, Empower Her Legacy is the name of the anthology. I am also honored to have an article that was picked up in the Legacy Woman magazine. The article is titled Leadership Evolution from Position to Purpose, and it's featured in their July 2026 issue. So if you'd like to purchase a copy of Legacy Woman magazine, again, you can go on Amazon.com and just put in Legacy Woman magazine. The July issue will come right up. Their August issue is also out right now if you wanted to get a copy of that. I also want to make sure that you have been and are still looking at or viewing my TEDx talk that I did in Vancouver, Canada. Make sure to do so. The topic was Show Up to Rise Up. You can watch it on YouTube. Just put my name in the search box, Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, and you will be able to see it. Make sure to check it out. I'm excited because as of today, it was at 306,763 views. So I want to thank you all in advance for your support and continuing to share, to like, and to comment on the video. You do know that I want to get to a million plus views. So we are on track. So I am so excited about that. And don't forget too that I am a contributing writer to Own It Magazine. I contribute an article every month to Own It Magazine. If you'd like to get a digital copy of Own It Magazine, you can email me at madeline@exwsi.com, and I will send you the link so that you can subscribe to get free copies of Own It Magazine. I would like to thank my guests, Ms. Debbie Jackson, also my viewers and listeners for joining me today. This has been the Successful Women Show. I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis. And if you'd like to reach out to me, you can email me at info@exwsi.com. Again, this is the Successful Women Show. We are here every week. I am your host, Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, helping women to accelerate the path to success. Thank you again to my guest, Ms. Debbie Jackson, my viewers and my listeners. Thank you all for joining me. I love you all to life. And as always, be well and stay safe out there. Thank you.
This is success, successful women.